How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video I'm going to be participating in Birdlife Australia's Aussie Backyard Bird Count. Now, the Aussie Backyard Bird Count is an annual citizen science initiative carried out by Birdlife Australia, and its aim is to basically map the prevalence of birds around Australia. Each year, thousands of people across the country are involved, and it really helps in mapping the trends in increases and declines in bird populations across the country. So basically, all you have to do is sit down anywhere really. I'm on my back veranda, but it can be a park or somewhere in your house for 20 minutes and log all the birds that you see or hear. And then you can submit it onto an app, which I'll show you later, or onto a website, which I'll link down below. So I live in suburban Sydney, so unfortunately there's going to be a bit of background noise. You can probably hear the building going on behind me. There's also a river nearby, so you might be able to hear some boats and people walking past. So without further ado, I've got my binoculars and my camera in case I see something interesting. And I'll start my 20 minutes from now, and let's get going. So the first thing is, you might be able to hear that chirping, that incessant chirping in the background. That's the sound of a noisy miner, and that's a really common bird around here, so that's the first one on my list. It's probably too faint for you guys to pick up, but I can hear the kind of distinctive metallic squawk of a rainbow lorikeet. So that's the second one on my list, rainbow lorikeet. Okay, so I can also just see in the distance, flying across the river, a sulphur-crested cockatoo. Now they're one of the more iconic animals in Australia, those big, white, beautiful cockatoos. There's a group of them actually flying across the river over there. So that's number 3 on the list. I can just also see a big flock of waders or something, some kind of wading bird. They had really long beaks and they were kind of brownish, so I don't actually know what they are now, but afterwards I'll look them up and see if I can find out what they are. That's one of the good things about the Birdlife Australia app, is that it has really good identification tools. If you're not too keen on, well, there's another noisy miner. If you're not too keen on bird identification, it's really helpful with that. So I've just seen a cormorant of some description. I don't know exactly which type it is, but I got a good look at it. It had a white kind of throat and neck, so I'll look that up afterwards and just double check it to ID it. There we go. Hopefully you just heard that. That's the distinctive call of a grey butcherbird. They've got this really, really beautiful call. So that's another one off the list. That was very short, but I'm pretty sure I just heard the call of, again, an Australian raven. So there's yet another one off the list. I'd love to be able to show you the view I've got to work with here, but unfortunately for privacy reasons I can't do that. Awesome, so I've just got through the binoculars a very clear view of a silver gull. So they're the most common seagull species around here in Sydney. So that's yet another one off the list. We're going pretty well at the moment. There we go. That's a raven. An Australian raven, to be exact. But I think that one was already on... that one was already on my list, so unfortunately I can't add that. There's about a minute or so to go. I'm not too hopeful that we'll find anything else, because there hasn't been much out at the moment. It's a bit hot at the moment. But hopefully we'll get something, you never know. After this, I'll just head inside and I'll tally up everything we saw and I'll do an outro. Alright, well that's that. That's the end of the 20 minutes. I think we did pretty well, but I'm just going to head inside now to get out of the sun, because I might be getting a bit burnt, and I'll just tally them up and we'll see how we went. Alright, so as I said before, a lot of the birds were very far away, so it was very hard for me to get any footage of them. Although just after I turned the camera off before, I actually saw one of my cats come out, and that obviously scared a few of the noisy miners around, and one of them came out and started doing its alarm call at my cat. So I got a bit of footage of that, and I'll show you that now. I also should add that today is the 19th of October and the Aussie Backyard Bird Count runs until the 25th of October. This is the first day that it's on, so I thought I'd just try and get this out quickly. But it was the middle of the day here, it was a bit hot, so the birds would all be in hiding. And you can do more than one count, so hopefully in the next few days I might try and do another one, preferably in the early morning and at a park, so that I'll be guaranteed to have quite a few more bird sightings than we had today. But regardless of that, let's go through all the birds I saw today. There were a couple that I had to ID, so I've got the app, obviously I'm going to go through, and if that fails, I've got this bird book here. So without further ado, let's get onto the app and try and identify all the birds that we saw. So as you can see, I'm on the Aussie Backyard Bird Count app at the moment, and as you can see, it ends in 6 days with over 17,000 checklists submitted and over 500,000 birds counted. So there's quite a lot of people across the country who've already been onto it on the first day. So I've got to put in my personal details and my location, so I'll click Let's Get Started and then skip that and go on to the actual bird count. So as you can see, the app actually allows you to time the 20 minutes and you can submit the birds as you see them, which is probably a lot easier than what I did, but since I was using my phone to record, it was a bit hard for me. So I can just click OK on this and stop the timer and we can start submitting the birds. Now the first one was the noisy miner. And as you can see here, if I type in noisy, it's got noisy friarbird, noisy miner, noisy pitter, and noisy scrubbird. And since the noisy scrubbird obviously doesn't live in my area, it's telling me on the app that it's unlikely to be one of the birds I saw. But I know that it was a noisy miner, so I can click on that. And now I think they were hard to see because it was the middle of the day and they were hiding, but I heard quite a few and I saw quite a few, so I'm going to say I saw at least 7. Now next, rainbow lorikeet. I didn't actually see any of these, but I heard at least 2. And then the sulphur, next would be the sulphur-crested cockatoo, this one here. Again, they were quite far away, but I did see some large flocks, so I'm going to say I saw at least 6 of them. So I'm going to go through the ones that I could actually identify first. So we'll do the raven, the Australian raven. I saw 1 of them. I did hear another one, but I think it was the same one that just flew closer. And the grey butcherbird, which was that really beautiful song that we only got to hear a little bit of, but they're a really nice common bird. Also a silver gull, I saw about 4 of them. And I think that's it for the birds that I could identify straight off the bat. So now there's a couple that I'm going to have to use this app or my book to identify. So we'll go find a bird. We'll do that cormorant one first. So select size, medium to large, about the size of a raven. That's correct. Let's go large shorebird because it was far away, but I'm pretty sure it was quite big, and it was black and white. So let's have a look. It wasn't an ibis. Could be that little pied cormorant or this pied cormorant. Yeah, it's going to be one of either of these two. So I'm going to read their details and just decide which one I think it is. Now, I think the one I saw was actually this pied cormorant, because as you can see, the neck and the bill are quite a bit longer than in this little pied cormorant. And that's definitely what I saw, even though it was far away. So I'm going to go with the pied cormorant, and I saw 1 of those. And so the last one to do was another one that I couldn't identify. It was a kind of medium to largish brown bird with a long beak flying in a flock. Look, this really is a tough one. So there's a photo of a whimbrel in flight. And if I go back up to the eastern curlew, there's a photo of a group of them in flight. I think I'm going to go with the curlew just because they were quite large, the birds I saw, and these ones are very big. So yeah, I think I'm going to go with this. And there was about 5 of them in the flock that I saw. So I think that does it for all the birds that I saw, I'm pretty sure. That's quite a good selection for this time of day. It was quite hot, so you wouldn't expect many birds to be out. There are a few notable exceptions of birds that I often see around here that I didn't see or hear at all, like the Australian magpie or the currawong or a kookaburra. But hopefully if I do another one earlier in the morning, I'll see ones like that. So let's go next. Each checklist should be done for a block of 20 minutes. Are you sure you want to continue? Yes. So I'm just putting in the details now, because if you do it with the app, it obviously, takes the times off the app, but I did it separately. So I'll put in all the details. That's correct. So I'm now uploading the checklist, and that's done. Awesome. So I've done my first checklist. I've got the email there already, and that's that. Sorry, this is future me interjecting on the video here. Just to say that while I was editing the video, I actually realized that the eastern curlews that I saw are critically endangered. Now that would make me think that maybe I didn't actually see them, maybe they were whimbrels. But I've done a bit of digging, and I think they may have actually been far eastern curlews or eastern curlews, which is pretty exciting. The reason is because right where I saw them, there is an area that they're actually known to be living currently. There's videos in the last couple of weeks of them there. So that does make me a bit optimistic that they are. If that is the case, this is actually really exciting, because these birds, as I said, are critically endangered. There's lots of conservation efforts underway to try and get their numbers up. But they actually breed in Siberia, and then from about August onwards, they come down to the southern hemisphere, like here in Sydney, and forage for a bit and bring up their strength after the massive flight from Siberia. So if they are actually eastern curlews, and I am, again, fairly confident, that's very exciting, and I'm very bummed that I didn't at least try and get some footage of them, which would have made it easier to confirm. I just, at the time, didn't know. As I said, I know exactly where they've been living, close to where I am at the moment, and they'll be there for a few months. So I might try in the next few days, if I get an opportunity, head over there and see if I can spot them. And if I can, I think that'll make a really, really good video, or at least confirm that they probably were the curlews that I saw. All right, sorry about that. Let's get back to the outro. Okay, so that's that for this video. As I said, I'll leave a link down below to the Birdlife Australia website and also the Aussie Backyard Bird Count website. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and hopefully I can do another one, as I said earlier, in the morning when more birds will be out. But I just wanted to get one done at the start because it only goes for a week, just in case anyone wanted to get involved. So again, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, like the video and comment down below what you think was good or what you think was bad, and subscribe if you want to see any more. See you in the next one.